The world of keyboards is so fascinating. You have keyboards that are great at one voice. Some keyboards are great at two or three voices, so rich, resonant, and realistic. And then you have some keyboards that you may not find immediate useful until you revisit the keyboards. Such was the case with the KORG Pa5X. My very first encounter with it was one of absolute awe because I had never heard KORGs in that context. But when I narrowed down on the sounds I was hearing, I really couldn't hear anything extraordinary. Having played the Tridents, the O1Ws, the Oasis of this world, I was not hearing similar sounds. I was not enamored by it, you could say, until I allowed the passage of time to let things marinate. And you know what I realized? I realized that the KORG Pa5X, in my opinion, has some of the most fascinating voices for an arranger keyboard. These were not as apparent in my first encounter with it. It was refreshing to hear KORGs in an arranger keyboard format with the fingered bass and chords, and I'd never really heard that until I encountered the Pa5X, hence my initial glee. But there was something missing. I hadn't uncovered the brilliance of the solo instruments. And as I allowed time to give me a different impression, and I allowed you awesome subscribers and listeners to give me a different viewpoint, I started revisiting my experiments with the KORG Pa5X. And you know what I realized? This keyboard has got favorites of mine that if I had a chance, I would distill it down to those favorite instruments. I've showcased some of those favorite instruments. Very simple. I have about 4 favorites on the Pa5X, and you might have heard me play them over and over and over again because I love playing them. Number 1, the cup trumpet. Extremely realistic, resonant, rich. It makes my music sound more authentic. Number 2, the Latin flute. The Latin flute on the KORG Pa5X is absolutely sick. It's bonkers, as we would say. It is absolutely crazy because you're hearing the undertones of a human voice and the flute itself, giving you an octave effect, as it were, but not an octave effect with the same instrument. You're hearing a voice and you're hearing a flute. And the really exciting thing is when I play the recorder, which is in the woodwind family, I do that. I scat, as it were, with my voice and play the actual recorder sound. So hearing that excited me. Dave Valentin, rest his soul, was one of such flautists who would do that, and it would excite me. So being able to do that on the keyboards, oh my goodness, it gets me really excited, my friends. The next instrument that I love on the Pa5X is the jazz guitar. It's like a hollow body guitar in the family of what George Benson would play, and it just makes my sound different. It really gets me going. The final assortment of instruments that I quite enjoy are in the brass family. The trumpet, the trombone, with the right amount of reverb, absolutely brilliant. So for those of you who heard my first few videos on the Pa5X and my impression of it, my impressions have evolved. I have uncovered diamonds in the rough, as it were. And for that reason, you will be seeing a lot more of the Pa5X on this channel because I'm trying to unravel what makes the Genos a worthy competitor Is it time to have another duel of the keyboards to find out, is Genos truly the king? Or is Pa5X the Don, the mob boss? Stay tuned to this channel because I will be bringing you many more videos and perspectives that put these two under the microscope. Now, right out of the box, I tell you, in my mind, KORG is the Apple of the keyboard world. Now, I know this is going to offend my Android friends, but Apple has got it down pat when it comes to design. The great Steve Jobs said, design is not what it looks like or feels like, it's how it works. Going into the aesthetics and talking about the design of the KORG Pa5X, I quite admire the design way more than I do the Yamaha Genos 2. Now, in the first rodeo, the Genos 2 did seem to come out in terms of the styles. The styles are rock solid, well panned, well EQ'd. You may need to do additional work with the EQing on the Pa5X styles. You may need to tweak things up to get to the optimum. But I'm beginning to realize, with the right amount of time, seasoning, marination, and secret sauce, the Genos might give the Pa5X cause to look even more superior. Don't get all bent out of shape, my Genos friends, because we are going to debate this from end to end. In some respects, I think the Pa5X has an edge beyond the design. And when it comes to the Genos, I truly believe that it has aspects that outshine the Pa5X. So, should we call it a draw? Stay tuned to the channel, and we will continue to unravel the Genos versus Pa5X saga. Genos 2 to be precise. And I'm also curious, as one of my subscribers, Steve, said, what next will KORG do? I'm waiting to see what next they do. In the past few months, I decided to invest again in KORG, so I got myself the KORG Oasis. And I'm contemplating, will I actually get a third KORG? Because I've got the KORG Trident, now the Oasis. The Pa5X probably won't get, because I want to see what comes next. And if what comes next fits the bill, I might very well get a third one. In the Yamaha department, I already know I am not getting a Genos. I love playing them, but the aesthetics and the design, it just doesn't do it. Love the sound, but I gotta be comfortable with it. You know, I've had my Motif XF8 for over 14 years. And I ain't looking back. I'm glad at the purchase. But when it comes to anything else, it must stand that test of time. Anyway, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed my musings. I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye for now. Let's listen to some music on the Pa5X.